All right, this is Tom Healy, co-founder of Growth 10, and I'm here with Andrew Exler. Andrew, we like to give action-oriented things that our founders, owners, entrepreneurs can do. So what we're going to do in this session here is talk about three things that small businesses can do immediately to improve their social media. So let's dive right into it. The first thing that you had listed was choosing the right platforms. Explain to us the landscape. What's out there? How many of them should we be on? And how do we determine the right one or ones for our business?
Sure. And even though I've got this listed at number 3 of making sure you're on the right platform, this is ultimately what's going to bring you either success or going to be a total failure for you. So making sure that you're on the right platform from the start. Typically, whenever I'm working with businesses or helping a business start their platforms from scratch, the 4 major platforms that I talk about are Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. There's YouTube, there's Pinterest, there's Snapchat, there's TikTok. There's a lot of other great platforms that are continuing to grow, but these are kind of the first 4 where I start with understanding what are the basics of each of them. On Facebook, it's definitely going to be your largest platform. It's great to reach businesses and individuals, families, typically the older demographic. You can probably consider it 25 years and up. There's LinkedIn. It's a great platform for business specifically. You're not going to find teenagers and kids on there. Really great for B2B, good opportunity to show off your employees, and people can learn a little bit more about your business and learn about the people working for you. Twitter's where you're going to get the most immediate responses, the best way for breaking news, announcements, trending topics, items like that. And then Instagram, which is one of my favorites, where you can really hit a young demographic and an older demographic. And you can learn so much about your audience on Instagram because you can see what they're posting, what their interests are. You can see who they're following, and really what they want. So it's just understanding from those 4. I might not need to be on all 4 of those. And there's some businesses I work on who are on all 4. There's businesses who are only on one or 2 of them. And just understanding that my business might be a totally different need than another business, varying dependent on industry.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how often people say, oh, well, I am on Facebook, so I'm going to assume my target market is all on Facebook, and I'm going to spend all of our business's marketing efforts on Facebook, when in reality, because of the different demographics, it may be way better suited for LinkedIn or for Instagram. And you as the business owner may need to get out of your comfort zone, right? You may say, well, I love LinkedIn and that's where I spend all my time. Well, if you're opening up a retail store that's mostly targeting the under 30 crowd, my guess is you should probably be on Instagram sharing those great pictures and everything that's happening in that environment and sharing stuff live, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really identifying where your target market is spending time and going to gain the most value from your brand. And it's more about them than it is about you or your comfort zone. So being very, very aware of that. Andrew, the next thing that you had here was the importance of building a strategy. So right now, small businesses should be building a strategy. What does a social media strategy look like?
Sure. So ultimately, I mean, the 2 biggest things when it comes to your strategy is what are your goals? What are the outcomes? So what I tell my clients, before posting anything, ask yourself why. Why am I posting this? What is the goal? Who am I trying to reach? And how will I measure success from this post? Am I trying to sell something? Am I trying to just show off an employee? Am I trying to celebrate a great customer that we have? What are the real defined goals? And then the other part is, what does your calendar look like? Am I just waking up one morning and as a great idea comes to me, I'm getting on my phone and I'm posting it? Or do I have great content that doesn't need to be posted right now that I can just schedule out so I know I have at least a great piece of content happening every day? So your goals and your calendar are going to be 2 really key points for you when it comes to your social media strategy. And just understanding what you want to accomplish with your presence. Are you trying to drive sales? Are you trying to grow your audience and get more followers? Are you trying to increase web traffic to make sales and get people to your website? You have to be able to measure success, and who are you working with to do that? Are you outsourcing it? Do you have a marketing team? And then when it comes to your social media calendar and your strategies, it's understanding that my sales techniques are going to be very different than customer service. So if I'm trying to sell a great product, there's going to be certain things and certain pictures and certain phrases I'm going to be using to try and sell, which might be very different than if I have a customer and we want to be able to reach them and be able to handle all situations well, rather than sporadic, trying to figure out what we do and making sure we want to make sure that we're consistent in all of our messaging, in that we're really just planning everything out. You don't want to post 7 times a day if you don't need to, if you can spread those 7 posts out over a week span.
Well, and you make such a good point, which is focusing on the outcome. What do we want people to do? We want more people to take advantage of our sale, or to walk into our retail location, or to come to happy hour, or whatever that looks like. And so, you laugh at the businesses that, okay, well, your goal is to get more people in. So then why are you sharing the quote of the day? Or why are you posting something that has nothing to do with the goals or strategy of the business? And the reason being a lot of times is, well, I'm just trying to put up content. And so putting stuff out there for the sake of putting stuff out there is wrong. What is your specific strategy? What is your goal? What's your outcome that you desire? And your outcome might be, I want to establish myself as the go-to wealth advisor in my town. Okay, well then focus on building credibility around that. Don't do something that has nothing to do with that. And so it's just really important that we say, what is the outcome that we want our target market to do, to feel, and that's so important. The last thing that you said is making it a priority. And we know who's watching or listening to this, right? It's the busy entrepreneur. And so I've already got 50 priorities. My calendar's already full. I'm already stretched too thin, both personally and professionally. So Andrew, how do I make social media a priority? How do I make sure that this is actually getting done and not just collecting dust like a bunch of other great ideas I've had over the past few years?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is number one for a reason. If social media isn't your priority or at the top of your priority list, not that I'm saying that your business is going to suffer, but you can't expect yourself to grow and really innovate and reach a larger audience that you might have been able to reach prior to the existence of social media. So it's understanding who is managing the accounts. If you're a business owner and you're watching this, I totally understand that you might not have the time to be able to do this while you're also trying to keep the lights on. Obviously, personally, I would recommend outsourcing it to different contractors. But also, what can you do? Do you have other employees who might be tech savvy? Even if it's just being on one platform and posting once a day, how can you strategize and work with them? My biggest rule with social media is, if you can't do something great, if you are on a platform and you can't do something great meaning you are providing valuable content, you're engaging consistently, there's not a lot of lag time, days and days going by without a post. If you can't do it great, don't be on the platform. So if you know that you are so busy and it's just you and one other employee, just be on one platform until you can strategize and help it grow. Understanding if you're outsourcing it, that 2 brains are better than one, and sometimes it's nice to have an unbiased opinion. The way that you look at your business being your baby, however you might talk about it, someone coming in from the outside with another opinion is going to be able to be very helpful, provide great feedback, and provide some constructive criticism that could only help you in the long run. So just understanding that it's okay, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but prioritizing your social media and knowing what a difference it's going to make for you in the long run.
Well, this was great stuff. And again, choose the right platform, build a strategy, and then make sure that it's a priority. If you do those things, I think you're going to be significantly better off. But again, some of my takeaways from this are, if you're going to do it right. If you're going to be on a platform, then be present and dominant on that platform versus trying to post the same thing on 4 places and do a very mediocre job at it. Also being aware of your marketing strategy. What are we trying to accomplish? And then making sure that the content you're pushing out and the way that you're sharing things or portraying yourself aligns with that. And then finally, figuring out how to make it a priority, right? Make sure it's on your calendar, make sure it's delegated to the right person, make sure there's some consistency here. So Andrew, great stuff. We appreciate your contribution to the Growth 10 community.
Thank you.